I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Text out of the 479 says that I just roll over in his grave. I don't know if you hear it, you've got some seriously incredible hearing. Dennis in Van Buren says, nope, let him go play the Pac-12 champ in the Who Cares Bowl.
Wow.
$6 million payoff for any team that makes it into the college football playoff. And by the way, that's distributed usually evenly amongst each conference, amongst their schools. So I think that's why these schools want Ohio State in the conference in the conference championship, then the college football playoff championship. Another text out of the 479 says, "How about no? Should have to earn it. Shouldn't be a given." This isn't the whole participation trophy thing and everything. It's more. I just can't get with if you have played 5 games, and the other teams that are considered for this have played 10. Or 11 in some cases. You can't convince me otherwise. That would be like compare pro sports to college sports, but let me do that for a moment. I mean, am I going to take a team in Major League Baseball that's played 81 games and say, you know what, because you look good in those 81 games, go ahead, play a team that's played 162 in the first round. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, let's just get this out here. This comes from Adam Rittenberg via ESPN, at ESPN Rittenberg on Twitter. It says, sources tell him and Heather Dinich that the Big Ten is expected to change the 6-game requirement for the league title game, pending further approval from athletic directors, SWAs, whatever that means, and president and chancellors.
That's the senior women administrator.
Okay, thank you. This would allow Ohio State to face Northwestern next week in Indianapolis. He also says the Buckeyes still could find an opponent this week, depending on other cancellations within the league. The key point from discussion is that Ohio State could have lost its 6th game and still qualify from the Big Ten championship. So, obviously, it's news that we expected, but now you're starting to get the national guys on top of it. So, seems more like a foregone conclusion at this point.
You realize this is like a relationship partner that you just can't believe anything they say anymore.
Right.
You know, I mean, first of all, they didn't want to play football back in August. And then they did want to play football back in August. You remember they released a schedule and then 2 days later said, forget about it. And now this. I mean, they set this threshold artificially to, and I understand why they set the threshold, to give some semblance of legitimacy to a championship. Mm-hmm. So then if that's the reason you did it then, and now you're there's like envy. This is all about envy, green with envy, jealousy that the other teams that have played more games can compete for the college football championship, and they feel like they got screwed out of it. Well, this was a unanimous vote by the Big Ten schools when they initially decided to impose this 6-game threshold. Every one of those schools voted for it. So they saw the reason to do it then. Now they see the reason to go against it now, and it's money. And I understand the reasons for money behind this, and I've been on record as saying there are people's jobs that are based upon these games getting played. There are people's livelihoods based upon these games getting played. I am not just talking about the coaches. I'm talking administrators. I'm talking marketers. I'm talking other business owners that are connected to these athletic programs. But this part about it, this $6 million that Ohio State would win for the Big Ten,
right?
That's what this is about, or it's about just prestige. And they don't belong in the conversation right now. They don't.
And I almost want to say that if they could have played 8 games at that point, or something comparable to the 10 that the SEC did, the 11 the ACC did, or anything like that, this wouldn't even be a problem. It's the fact, and it's not. And Todd brought up the argument this morning, which I agree a little bit with it. It's not necessarily their fault that they're sitting in this position that they are right now.
Well, the Big Ten also screwed them over by not leaving any weeks available to have a postponed game be played. I mean, you look at all of these. There were games in the SEC that did not get played. The word is postponed next to them. They're the same thing in the Big Ten says canceled because they don't have the 2 weeks built in there the way the SEC did to push games back. This is the Big Ten screwing themselves with the way that they built this football season initially, which all started with them screwing themselves over by saying we're not going to play.
Right.
Back in August.
I think the only SEC game out of all of them that got played, and correct me if I'm wrong, I think there's just one that's not going to get played, period. And it's just based off the fact of just other teams it couldn't get done. I think it was A&M and Ole Miss. I think
there'd be. I mean, I wouldn't have like a real read on what it's like around the rest of the country, but in the SEC, I think in the ACC, Cincinnati, Ohio, where that team is 8-0 and has had 2 games canceled, and they're going to play a 9th in a championship game. You know, there are people that are Cincinnati fans and Buckeye fans, as silly as that would sound, but I think there'd be a big there'd be an outcry about this. There will be an outcry if Ohio State makes it to a college football playoff with just 5 games. 6 games when Alabama will have played 11. Again, I have a real issue with it. But I guess if you were scheduled for 8 and you played 6, I don't know. It's a good thing I'm not on the committee, but college football's got to change the way that things are built, I think, a little bit. Too much power in the conferences, not enough of a real leader for the sport overall.
Would it be as simple as just expanding it to 8 teams?
I guess this year maybe, but I mean, I've been on record these last 2 years. I want to see this thing grow to 8 teams. But on the other hand, there are other seasons where it's pretty obvious that there are only 4 teams that belong there. And this is a year where it's just difficult to put your finger on how you choose some of these teams, just because they don't play the same amount of games. And you didn't have the non-conference games that usually help you figure these things out. Certainly, you could figure out that if you're looking for a great gift for the holiday season, go to WashitaFarms.com and use the code WPS15 when you check out. That's a state-licensed cannabis farm, processor, and seed labeler in central Arkansas at Hot Springs Village. Washita Farms sells their products at nearly 200 stores across Arkansas. That's WashitaFarms.com. Small batch products, lab results are verified right there on the website, WashitaFarms.com. Use the code WPS15 when you check out. Clay Henry's with us next.
2020 has been a roller coaster year, so spoil her this Christmas by giving her the next best thing to wearing nothing at all. With soft, silky, naturally nude pajamas, exclusively from Pajamagram, America's PJ experts for nearly 20 years. Sensuous and smooth, naturally nude pajamas feel just like her own bare skin. She'll love slipping these on every night because the texture and touch of naturally nude pajamas is so soft and luxurious, they'll melt away her stress. She'll love the feeling of wearing next to nothing at all, and you'll love the way they look. Check them out at Pajamagram.com. And right now, when you order today, you'll get a great deal. Free gift packaging. That means you don't have to wrap a thing. Get her naturally nude pajamas and get your free gift packaging today before this deal disappears. Just go to Pajamagram.com. It's fast, easy, and delivery by Christmas is guaranteed. That's Pajamagram.com.
Stop in today at Randall Ford, where you'll find over 150 pre-owned cars, trucks, and SUVs in stock. We have what you want at the price that will fit your budget. We have 35 certified pre-owns. We even have over 25 vehicles under $10,000 and no payment for 90 days. All used vehicles go through a 115-point safety inspection. Plus, we will deliver your new purchase right to your front door. Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or online 24/7 at randallford.com. Home of the lowest price guarantee.
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
Hurry up, dude. The game's about to start.
Nothing beats spending the day watching the game with your buddies.
Dude, I'm literally right here. Let's do this.
Which is why a shelter insurance renter's policy is key to your winning game plan. It protects things your landlord's policy doesn't.
Dude, where's your TV?
What? No way, dude.
Like that flat screen TV that just got stolen.
Ask Ted McAvoy in Van Buren or Jeff Clark in Fort Smith about Shelter's home insurance. Are you ready to take the next step? Want to make real money? How about averaging $2,800 per week? United Welding Institute is accepting new students to shape into high-paid career welders. Graduates of United Welding Institute find great-paying jobs in the oil field, power plants, refineries, pipelines, and more. United Welding Institute in Pottsville, Arkansas has been training professional field-tested welders since 2013. Change your life and call 479-968-3390 or visit UnitedWeldingInstitute.com.
Looking for that perfect gift for your off-road enthusiasts? Come get you some. The largest 4x4 shop in the state with the most in-stock inventory is the place to shop. They have everything from power-based soundbars, side-by-side parts, tires, leveling kits, exhaust, and accessories for your Jeep. Need a stocking stuffer? They have gift certificates for that hard-to-buy Ford guy on your list. Stop by today at 2728 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith or call 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. You can also check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Whitson Morgan Motor Company, your 2020 Dealer Rater Dealer of the Year, has 4 great locations in the River Valley, giving you a huge selection of new and pre-owned vehicles. Choose from Ford, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Chevrolet vehicles right now at Whitson Morgan Motor Company. See their reviews and compare with others. That many people can't be wrong. Visit Whitson Morgan in Clarksville, Ozark, and Russellville, or log on at whitsonmorgan.com for selections and great deals to serve you today.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Jefferson going to keep the football. You called it, left side, inside the 5. Jefferson to the goal line. Touchdown, Arkansas. 12 yards for KJ.
Make sure to follow Halftime on Twitter at HitThatLineAR and on Facebook and Instagram at HitThatLine. Follow the guys on Twitter at Phil Elson PXP, at Matt Travis, and at Matt Jenkins 44.
All right, got Clay Henry for a couple of segments here on Halftime, and we'll bring him in a moment. And the reason I'm going to take the phone call first is because Bobby in Cave Springs is carrying on the same conversation we've had for the first 2 segments on the show, and I know Clay will certainly have his opinion on this Ohio State college football playoff situation. Bobby, you're on Halftime. Thanks for calling in. What are you up to?
Thank you, sir. How many teams are in the Big 12, Big 8, Southwest Conference, Texas and the Little Ducks, whatever that conference is? Do we know how many teams are in it?
Or in each of those conferences?
Are in that conference, but whatever's left of that, whatever that conference is. The point is they don't have 12 teams.
Right. Yes, the Big 12, which now has 9.
Right. And the rule says they have to have 12 teams to have a championship game. But we had to make an exception for them when Texas ran off the other members to allow them to have a championship game. We had to make an exception so that they didn't get shut out of the playoff game. Why are we surprised now that Ohio State wants to be in with 5 games?
Man, you're right about that, Bobby. And if I remember correctly, Clay, was it the NCAA that had to allow an exception for the Big 12 to have a championship game because they had 10 teams?
Yeah.
I don't think it was the Big 12. I think it was the NCAA overall that did that, right?
Yeah, and it really doesn't make any sense since they already play everybody. They play everybody. Right. They have a true champion, but it's like, okay, but we need that extra money. And we make up the rules as we go. I mean, it's as much like backyard football that I used to play when I was growing up. I mean, we just like, okay, that's the out-of-bound marker over there, that pine cone, and somebody take their shirt off, and we're going to have shirts against skins. So there's 3. Since we're 6, there's going to be 3 shirts in other corners, and we've got 1 pine cone for a corner. That's what's going on here. Let's just make it up as we go. And I mean, we shouldn't be surprised what they've done. Bobby, you still there? Are we done with Bobby?
Yeah, Bobby's off.
And thanks for the call, Bobby.
Okay. Yeah, always good to hear from Bobby. The what we've got is the Big 12 has kind of played themselves out of it, with all their losses. the Pac-12 never really seemed like they were in it. I mean, every time one of those teams lost, you knew they weren't going to have more than 2 or 3 games, so they weren't in it, and they knew that. And there was some talk about, well, Oregon is, but they had so many players opt out and injuries, and they really weren't a viable candidate. And so what we have is they're going to put in the conference champion from the Big Ten. They're going to, if it's Ohio State, if it's somebody else, no, they won't. But it's going to be the ACC versus the SEC. And they're the 2 leagues that were serious from the start of, we're going to play. We're going to play. And we're going to play all our games. And Big 12 kind of jumped in late and did it too, in a meaningful way. They've played legitimate schedule, but they're just not anybody that's any good in the Big 12 this year. I mean, it's like I talked to somebody that I respect a lot, and they're like, they're just a bunch of JV teams. And I mean, that's an exaggeration, but it's like none of them are real candidates. So you've got, it's kind of an odd duck thing with Clemson and Notre Dame. Notre Dame, if they beat Clemson, then it'll be 1 team from the ACC. If Clemson wins, then it's going to be 2 teams from the ACC, and the SEC will have 1. That's the if Notre Dame wins, then you've got probably Alabama and Texas A&M and Ohio State. So that's the way I think it's going to shake out, and it's not right, because we've seen so many years that when Indiana plays a full Big Ten schedule, they haven't been able to run the table, right? There's been somebody that has this massive upset and the goalposts go down. I mean, it's just gonna, it's happened. I don't see that Northwestern can do anything to stop them, and I don't think Michigan would have either. Michigan is a quote JV team. They're not the real Michigan this year.
I sure hope that Northwestern does, because I mean, I look at Ohio State's schedule, and I just, I don't think there's really much there that's all that impressive except the win over Indiana. I understand they were down like 26 players and 3 starting offensive linemen against Michigan State, so maybe that should stand for something. But, 5 games, maybe 2 of them are really impressive wins, because a win over Nebraska doesn't impress anybody anymore. A win over Penn State by 13. Penn State's terrible this year.
They're down, yeah.
Rutgers, come on now.
But really what we have this year is you don't have – this isn't – nothing's apples to oranges from week to week, because you don't know. I can't remember who had what players win. I mean, I do know that Trevor Lawrence did not play against Notre Dame. I got that. But do you think anybody around the country knows that Arkansas had 1 scholarship defensive lineman per se? I mean, one in their top 2 depth chart against LSU. Nobody knows that. Nobody. We don't keep up with that kind of information nationwide. We do in Arkansas. We know what they had, and I'm going to guess that most people around the country just really couldn't tell you that KJ Jefferson, played for Franks against Missouri. That was, you're not paying that close attention to what's going on. So, yeah, what's going on in the Big Ten, who's got who, I don't know. I really don't.
Clay Henry here with us on Halftime. Clay, let's get some final thoughts here real quick before we tear the box scores up here in a little bit. Arkansas, Missouri, obviously KJ Jefferson was a story of the offensive side of the football, and I think it caught a lot of people by surprise, just the success that he had moving the ball offensively. And I don't know if necessarily to credit that to just him as a player or the Missouri coaching staff not necessarily being prepared that KJ was going to start.
Oh, I don't think it's – I think they ran their offense.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think they did anything different. I mean, I saw the same plays being executed in the same system. So Missouri didn't have to change. I mean, KJ didn't run the ball an awful lot. He was a threat as a runner, so you had to honor that in the RPO game. But Franks is the same way. He's had carried the ball 92 times in the first 8 games, so there's nothing Missouri would have had to do to change gears for Jefferson if they had known all week that he was going to be the guy. It would just be, okay, it's number 1 instead of number 13, and if anything, you might not have been prepared as much that he could throw deep like Frank's. Mm-hmm. There's some ways that you can say he was a more effective quarterback than anything we've seen from Frank's this year. The consistency of the run game and the RPO reads were rock solid, and that's what was going on. Now, here's the bottom line of that game. Missouri didn't have Nick Bolton, who's All-American, for almost the whole game. He got hurt in the first quarter, ejected when he was returned. He is their guy. I mean, he is as good as anybody in the country and probably be first-team All-America. Certainly is a first-team All-SEC player. Arkansas didn't have Catalan in the first half. I'm sure that Missouri exploited some of that. And then in the last quarter, not having Grant Morgan and then running out of cornerbacks and having to play Catalan at corner just depleted the Arkansas defense where they couldn't function. And we now know how valuable Grant Morgan is to this team by watching what happened. 22 snaps and 292 yards. Haven't seen much of that in a long time.
That's amazing. I want to stay with Grant Morgan when we come back into the next segment, because I think that's your Burlsworth Trophy winner right there. I also know
if he doesn't win, it's an upset. Yeah,
absolutely. There's no doubt that if you own a business that needs more security, or if you need more curb appeal for that business, then call the Fenceman, because they got a fence that can do both for you. Fenceman helps out with stuff like gates and controlled access card readers, all kinds of custom installations. They've been doing it over 40 years, and nobody knows any better than the Fenceman. Give them a call at 479-782-3936. The Fenceman is a division of Quantum Property Services. All right, we got Clay for one more segment. I want to talk about Fred Akers. I want to talk about Grant Morgan. And maybe we'll get into some more Arkansas football against Alabama on Saturday, so stay with us.
Full-time farmers, hobby farmers, and landowners, your time is important. Make the most out of that time with a brand new Branson tractor from Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith. With tractors from 19 to 105 horsepower, we have a tractor that will fit your needs. Ask Bush Machine and Tractor about their special financing options and free loader rebates. Bush Machine and Tractor in Fort Smith is Arkansas's #1 Branson dealer. Check their inventory at bushtractor.com.
You could win a year of free internet from Wave Rural Connect. Here's how it works. If you sign up and are contracted between October 1st and December 31st, 2020, you have a chance to win 1 year of internet based on the internet speed you signed up for. That's it. So what are you waiting for? Call 1-833-4WAVE-RC or go online, waveruralconnect.com, to get details and sign up. Arkansas Valley Electric and Wave Rural Connect, changing the communities we serve.
Arkansas Fuel Injection in Fort Smith has been providing quality work for all new and rebuilt diesel pumps and injectors for over 25 years. They are a certified diesel shop with a team of quality technicians that ensure the highest quality workmanship and warranties all their work. They're open Monday through Friday 8 to 5 and has emergency service available 24 hours a day. For all your diesel pump, fuel injection, and parts needs, stop by Arkansas Fuel Injection, 6300 South 29th Street, Fort Smith. Call them today at 1-800-817-7709. Arkansas Fuel Injection.
Law's Drug is open and ready to safely care for your family. Law's Drug is open 6 days a week and has an easy-to-use drive-thru to pick up your prescriptions or any of their over-the-counter medications or supplements. Or let Law's Drug deliver your medications for free to your home or business. Law's Drug, since 1950 at 6802 Rogers Avenue, behind Outback Steakhouse. Law's Drug, open 6 days a week to safely care for you and your family.
Metal Mart offers high-quality prefabricated metal buildings, metal roofing, custom trim shop, carports, and more. They strive to be a company where contractors as well as do-it-yourselfers are welcome. Metal Mart assists you in calculating the materials needed to complete your project, all at a rate you can afford. Stop by 7320 Highway 271 South in Fort Smith or call 648-3342. You can also catch them online at metalmarts.com. Metal Mart, the right material for the right price.
Whether you've learned to work from home, manned a testing site in a parking lot, tried to fulfill pickup orders, cooked food for curbside pickup, or stayed awake all hours wondering how you're going to make payroll, if you've made it this far into 2020, you've got true grit. And it's time that you had gear that performs as hard as you do. We've got the gear you need to finish strong in 2020. Let's cross this finish line together at True Grit Running Company, 6808 Rogers Avenue, Suite B, behind Chick-fil-A.
Ho, ho, ho! What do you know, Fort Smith? Larry Rath here from Rath Auto Resources. I've cooked up the perfect way to beat the 2020 blues. This month, you can jingle all the way home in one of our Rath Road Ready vehicles, each one hand-picked and inspected in our Meineke Car Care Center. Is your current car less reliable than a reindeer? Is it giving you resting Grinch face? If your old ride has your tinsel in a tangle, dump that sled and get up to $3,100 extra for your trade. Don't get Scrooged by past credit mishaps. My elves are working round the clock to help you get approved. And my non-commissioned sales staff will make it easy for you to jingle all the way home in a nicer, newer car. Keeping the car you have, get it ready for winter in our Meineke Car Care Center with free winter-ready inspection, half-off brakes, and buy 3, get 1 free on all tires. But hurry, this deal's done once 67 people dump their sleds only at Arkansas's favorite used car dealer, Rath Auto Resources and the Meineke Car Care Center, 4515 Towson Avenue, Fort Smith, or online at rathauto.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Costello going to throw on second down. Has time underneath. Intercepted. That's Brooks at the 35 to midfield. He's got a chance to go to the 30, to the 20, to the 10. Touchdown, Arkansas! Greg Brooks with a pick six, and the Hawks strike first.
Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Smackdown.
Well, let's see some of the awards that Arkansas football players and a coach are up for. I know Jalen Catalon is a semifinalist for the Jim Thorpe Award. I don't think he wins it this year, but I do think I think he's got a shot at it next year. And then yesterday, the word came out about Barry Odom, one of 56 nominees for the Broyles Award, one of 10 nominees out of the SEC alone, by the way. I don't see any way that Barry Odom wins this award. I do think Grant Morgan will win the Burlsworth Trophy as the top player in college football that started his career as a walk-on. So, Clay, I mean, I went through the list of these nominees for the Burlsworth Trophy, and I've only found like 4 other players that have a legitimate case, and they still don't match up to the story of Grant Morgan or the production of Grant Morgan this year.
Yeah, so here's the kind of the nuts and bolts of that. And I was on a committee call for 3 hours Sunday, and we haven't finished. We still have we're going to have another committee, Football Writers America Selection Committee, which I'm one of the SEC reps for that committee. And so you go through and you discuss every nominee from every conference at each position. And we haven't done quarterback. Well, we know who that's going to be. It's going to be Trask or Jones from Alabama. Lawrence, I guess, has got a say in it too. But I figure the winner of the SEC championship game, unless they both just flop while doing that, is probably going to have that trophy, and maybe the Heisman as well. Football Writers All-America Committee. But anyway, just going through offensive line, all of the defense, and that was what we discussed. None of those guys that we discussed are on this list for the Burlsworth. I mean, they're not on there. So I'm not familiar with any of those names. It's kind of like you say. But Grant was, he was discussed for first-team All-America and got quite a lot of votes. And it's now Now he's not going to get any more tackles. I don't think he's going to play anymore. I mean, his knee, I think it's a second knee injury from what I'm gathering. So he's probably done. I guess maybe a bowl game, but he's not going to play against Alabama. But I would be stunned if he wasn't the winner of the Burlsworth Trophy. And that's not to say that committee, which is really good, I mean, Marty's done a great job with that committee, that there'll be somebody that's comparable to Grant that, is another finalist and could win. But, we all love what we see of Grant, so it's hard for us to imagine anybody else winning.
I looked through Arkansas State defensive end, tight end, T.W. Ayers, I think has a case. The Boise State defensive back who returns their kicks, Avery Williams, I think he's got a case. Dax Milne, the wide receiver for BYU, and linebacker Chris Bergen out of Northwestern.
He's in the Blitkoff finalist,
okay. Yeah. But Grant, I still think has had more production than any of them as far as his position is concerned.
Well, what he's worth to his team, too. It's incredible.
Sure. I want to ask about Barry Odom. Some of the numbers for the defense are not pretty when you're looking at the rankings. They're 103rd in total defense, 92nd in scoring defense, 102nd in team sacks, 116th in first downs allowed, 109 is their ranking in third down percentage. This is out of 127 schools. This is near the bottom of the barrel.
Yeah,
but the interceptions,
and they've got Alabama to
right,
and they've got Alabama to come, and the numbers will get worse. They will. I mean, it's just with what Arkansas has left to play with. The depth has just been depleted, and it is going to be tough to stop Alabama. You can measure success in this game as like, okay, they punted twice or they punted 3 times. I mean, that's what it's going to be. And I mean, that doesn't mean that Arkansas can't score some points and make it a game, but that's what they'll have to do. They'll have to, because there's not anybody stopping Alabama this year. And we went through. You could have named 3 of their offensive linemen as first team All-America. 3. Just think about that. Mm-hmm. You got 5 and 3. 2 of them probably, Leatherwood and the center Dickerson, are just terrific. And you've seen some great offensive lines and how little pressure Arkansas has gotten against those guys. Well, these guys are another level up.
Have you seen improvement in the secondary? Because that's also where Barry Odom's specialty is defensively. He coaches the safeties. So, and I think that's one of the reasons why he is nominated for the Broyles Award. It's also because of his safety work, and that's been the really the strong point, I think, of the Arkansas defense.
Yeah, they're just beat up at this point and depleted. And when you start having players opt out and your depth, and that's what got them in the fourth quarter as much as Morgan being out, is that they were just void in the secondary. Hudson Clark he can make some plays, and he did make some plays in that game, knocked away some passes and had some coverage, but they pick on him enough that like all cornerbacks give up plays. So I got home Saturday night, and I'm watching Alabama and LSU, and there's Darryl Stingley, a first-team All-America last year, and he's lining up on Devontae Smith and getting beat in Arkansas, and Treylon Burks beat him. So cornerbacks give up plays, and I don't care who they are. Patrick Surtain hasn't given up many with Alabama, but he has given up some. But it's if you've got a corner on one side that's covering and the other is a little suspect, well, then every play goes over there. And that's just kind of, we disqualified one guy for All-America because he made an unbelievable amount of tackles. Well, his stats are good. So, okay, well, what does that tell you about a cornerback if he's making all the tackles? They're throwing to his side, or they're running to his side. Yeah, and if it was for no gain, well, they'd quit doing it, wouldn't they? Mm-hmm. They just would.
That's true. It's funny, too, the way you describe defensive backs and cornerbacks. I kind of align that to, like, relief pitchers in baseball, because they're easy to hate on these guys at those positions because relief pitchers are just going to give up runs every once in a while. They're going to give up a lead because of where they're pitching in a game. And cornerbacks, they're going to give up passes. They're going to give up big plays on occasion, just the nature of the game.
Yeah, they play in a 70-game college season. the relief pitchers are going to pitch 40 times, right?
Right. Exactly. So, all right, somebody mentioned earlier Bo Schembechler rolling over in his grave, hearing the Michigan athletic director try to get Ohio State into the college football playoff. So I want to ask, that seems like something that's really odd to hear. What about the idea of a former Razorback becoming the head coach at Texas? I did not know the story of Fred Akers until I read his obituary and they did a little more research on him. What a spectacular story and a spectacular life. Really amazing.
Oh, it is. Yeah, and was a great guy. Great. Everybody had much respect for him. Even if he's coaching at Texas, you couldn't hate on him. And then, he didn't flop. But when you think of the weapons that you would the riches of that you would inherit at Texas, he didn't actually prosper either. So that they would start out the season and might be ranked real high, and Arkansas beat them when they were number one, maybe twice. So you couldn't hate on Freddie for that. It's part of great Arkansas victories, and then he was a much-loved player at Arkansas. Really, really a neat guy. And, I don't say that much about Texas people, but he's one of ours.
Well, he also just seemed to, look, he played on Frank's first team. Then he became a coach under Frank. He's one of Royal's assistants during the 69 season. He's the coach for Earl Campbell when he wins the Heisman Trophy. This guy was – he might not have had a legendary career himself, but he was around a whole lot of other legends and was influential on that.
Yeah, you'd have to say he was successful and well respected. That's how I would summarize it, and very much respected by Frank Boros. So that would be another. You couldn't have a better compliment than that.
The other guy I wanted to ask you about, and I brought it up right about a day ago, and we've got about a minute left here, is Dick Allen, Richie Allen, who should be a Hall of Famer in Cooperstown, the first African-American to play for the Arkansas Travelers, 1963. And I know you got a chance to see him play at Ray Winder Field.
Well, we lived 6 blocks from there, 18th and Fair Park, and my dad, was either the official scorer, either he or Jim Bailey, and whoever wasn't the official scorer, the other one was covering the game. So me and my 3 brothers would go, and we did everything from sell concessions to bat boy to be on the roof retrieving foul balls. There was somebody sit up on the roof of Ray Winder Field. I did that for 2 seasons. So you watched and just fascinated by Richie Allen, and he was incredibly gifted. The only thing I can remember talking with Jim Bailey and Jim Elder that he was struggled. They had a dump, and a dump is a raised area to the fence in left field, and he could not play that dump. The ball, and he would stagger up that thing, and I know he cussed it, and but yes, all the tools. Wasn't in Little Rock long because he was so good. Yeah.
Clay, appreciate you, man. Thank you.
Thanks, Clay.
You got it, guys.
All right. Hey, SmackDown.
Yes, sir.
Lunch plans today? You want to go over to Joe's, or you want to walk in there ever again?
I think I'll get over it. I'll get over it just because today is half price apps and taps. Today at Joe's Grill and Cantina, get over there. That starts after 5 o'clock p.m. They've got their new Sippin' Saturday brunch bar. You can see more about that this coming Saturday. They're at 3400 South 74th Street in Fort Smith, across from Parks, 479-478-9600. Hour 2 coming up next.
Your number one Arkansas fan, Auto Owners Insurance and Kohler and Green Insurance is a winning combination. We will work with you to insure your home, auto, business, and life to keep everything you value safe, sound, secure. Auto Owners Insurance, the no-problem people. Visit Kohler and Green Insurance in Fort Smith. Call 484-9888. And Kohler and Green Insurance in Van Buren. Call 474-9888 today or online at kohlergreen.com.
Is your Arkansas home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a no-cost-to-you program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, their crews will install measures that can include attic insulation, LED light bulbs, weather stripping, advanced power strips, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and much more. The services provided through this program are at no cost to you for qualifying homes. If you or someone you know could benefit from home weatherization improvements, call OG&E today at 800-272-9741. That's 800-272-9741.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning. Your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today. 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
When you've escaped the screens and the sun bathes everything in a golden glow, and your friend hands you a cold organic beer that tastes as perfect as nature itself, that's pure gold. Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, the first national USDA certified organic beer. Organic by nature. Enjoy responsibly. 2020 Anheuser-Busch Michelob Ultra Pure Gold, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hey, this is Ted with Ed Walker's Drive-In. For more than 70 years, Ed Walker's has been the place to go for the best French dips and hand-patted hamburgers in town. Blue Plate Specials served Monday through Friday, and we're still the home of Fort Smith's only 5-pound hamburger. We're open 10 a.m. to midnight, 7 days a week. Call ahead for pickup, 783-3352. Ed Walker's Drive-In, 1500 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith, where the legend lives on.
ESPN Arkansas weather.
Mainly clear sky tonight, and overnight low will drop down to near 35 degrees. Sunny and a warmer one Wednesday, our high into the upper 60s. Wednesday night, mainly clear and overnight low in the middle to upper 30s. Thursday, sunshine, our high into the upper 60s. And Friday, a wet and cooler day, upper 50s to low 60s. I'm Sally Russell with your forecast on ESPN Arkansas.
Weather is brought to you by OG&E Weatherization Program for Arkansas customers with homes at least 10 years old. Call 1-800-272-9741 for details or log on to OGE.com.
It's fast. It's exciting.
KERX Paris Fort Smith. This is halftime, coming at you from the Bushlight Studios on ESPN 95.3. Live from the Bushlight Studios.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
On your favorite Arkansas sports talk station.
Because this is a proud damn state.
Streaming live from
hitthatline.com.
You can actually feel Razorback Stadium shaking underneath our feet right now.
This is Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
We're coming for the whole damn thing.
My calculations are correct. When this baby hits 88 miles per hour, you're going to see some serious...
Inside the 20, inside the 10, Burks is going to score! Touchdown, Arkansas!
I have been waiting for this moment for a long time.
Judging by the sound of it, so has everyone else.
Hey, hold on, it's almost halftime.
All right, SmackDown, did you print out your box score? You got meat hooks ready to throw this thing away? Hey, you're the one who reminded me about this at the start of the show today.
I even got one from Matty T ready to rock and roll.
I got to take the staple out.
Yeah, don't hurt yourself.
Rip through the staple.
Okay.
Don't hurt yourself with the staple. These things actually can leave a mark.
Ow! No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, so this is 50-48 loss against Missouri. Sick and tired of losing against Mizzou. Done with this thing.
This is the post-game notes from that.
Felt good.
Felt really good.
Cathartic. I think at the end of the football season, SmackDown, when it's all done, when the bowl game is done, because this team should be playing in a bowl game, we're going to print out the entire book of season statistics, which will probably be like 70 pages, and see if you can rip through that. That'll be your next contest, your next feat of strength. You could not win the taco eating contest against Ty.
Whatever.
But I guarantee you can tear more stat pages than Ty can.
See, here's the thing. Like, Brandon Paris texted in a while ago, asking him, like, when's part 2 of this challenge coming? I will never let's see. It's 12/02, December 9th. I will never go one-on-one with Ty in an eating challenge again.
Well, hold on a moment here. It doesn't have to be an
But
eating
you saw how the guy was eating tacos?
Matty T, isn't Festivus approaching soon?
It sure is.
Feats of strength occur on Festivus. You two are going to need to get together around the Festivus pole while you are lobbing aggrievements at each other and have yourself some feats of strength.
I know I'm stronger than Ty. And Ty would probably admit that I'm stronger than him because when he moved, it was like the first couple month or two I was here, and he was moving out of the apartment that I live in now to his, at that time, another house. And he was bear hugging this little like knot table. And I come along and I just grab it with my meat hooks and
with your pinky.
With my pinky and just grab it with one arm, and I'm sitting here doing chest curls with it.
Your pinky is like a rib.
It really is.
It's like a rib sandwich.
Here's what I want to do, and I think it would go over really well. I want to wrestle Ty Richardson in a WWE kind of match.
Oh my gosh.
That's right, because you didn't even realize that you were stepping into a steel cage match against a seasoned competitor last week. So that'd be the right way to go about it here, SmackDown.
Ty we did what Ty's good at.
Is this going to be a Jello match?
No.
Perfect.
That's where you guys both wrestling.
Mud wrestling.
Mud wrestling.
Yeah, you guys need a mud. No, you don't. Let me make sure I don't say that. You really don't need to do that.
Just a text out of the 501 says, never thought Ty would get SmackDown shook. I'm shook watching the guy eat. Let's just get that out in the open. If you didn't see it, it's still on our YouTube page. By the grace of God, it's still on our YouTube page and Facebook and Twitter. Maddie can attest to this. I'm 27 years old. I've never seen a human eat the way he was eating tacos Saturday. It was impressive.
The great part about this is that we've been able to get like a week and a half's worth of radio off of it. In and of it itself. And the listeners apparently love it. Our texters are all about this, man. They're all about your failure and pain.
Yeah.
SmackDown. That's what they're all about.
Hell, JT in Hot Springs doesn't even refer to me as SmackDown. I'm just Matt from BB now.
You have to earn his
I have to earn his respect back. I don't know what.
I thought somebody said if you lost, they were going to change your name to Big Softy.
That was JT too.
Okay.
There was a lot of nicknames going across the way, and I think he just settled on Matt from BB. So I'm on the same level as JT now.
See here, we got a couple of basketball games tonight. We didn't even know there would be a basketball game tonight for the men's team until yesterday. It's so crazy, isn't it? But they've got one. Southern. This is going to be ugly. I think it's going to be super ugly. But I know in the paper,
ugly. There's not even a line to the game.
There shouldn't be a line on this game. Muss and the team talking about how it's better than a practice, better than scrimmaging against each other. Although I think they'd get a better game going up against each other. And the women traveled to Southern Methodist today. The combined records of the two teams that the men's and women's teams were playing today, 0-5. Southern is 0-2. SMU has lost their first 3 games, though one of them was to Texas. I think that was Vic Schaefer's first game as the Texas head coach, or one of them certainly. And then they lost in overtime to Texas State and just lost by 12 on the road to Oklahoma State. So SMU, this will be their first home game, I believe. So it will be very interesting to see how Arkansas comes out after the highs of the highs against the Baylor Bears on Sunday. To me, it doesn't seem like a team that would take their eye off the prize and just read all of the accolades and all that. But the accolades have just been pouring in for this team right now, man. Totally pouring in for him. Chelsea Dungy is SEC Player of the Week. Amber Ramirez was a National Player of the Week for College Sports Madness. And Mike Neighbors was named Coach of the Week by ESPN. So, if I guess we'll find out, if there are lots of headlines for this women's basketball program, and if they read those headlines and believe them, I guess it'll show on the court today.
I was going to say, I don't necessarily think that and Neighbors and crew will be ready to rock and roll tonight. But, I mean, realistically, we have the same conversation when we talk about football teams and different things like that. I mean, you have this big landmark victory, blah, 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 and then you come out extremely flat again the next week.
Well,
and I'm not saying they will. Neighbors going to have these girls ready to rock and roll, and I don't think Chelsea Dungy, Slocum, Michaela Dan, all those girls they're going to be ready to rock and roll. But you got to have that in the back of your mind. I mean, how focused are they on this matchup when you just come off beating the defending champs?
Just the fact of the way that they're traveling today, to me, says that they should show up focused because they're taking a day trip to Dallas for the game. I'm not even going on the flight. They've shrunk the travel party down, and so Mike is quoted in the paper talking about how careful they've had to be of how they're eating around each other and how they're who's sitting next to who on the bus and who's sitting next to who on the plane and everything surrounding that. They've already been so focused to begin with. I just don't see them coming out unfocused against SMU. They have been a team. Arkansas has been a team. You didn't see this against Baylor, but it has happened a couple of other times. It's taken a few minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, to start to get your sea legs underneath you.
By the way, this was sent to me by Porter Hayes over at the Hawk Talk podcast, and this is a little bit of breaking news, I guess, if you want to call it that. Per Pat 40 and Sports Illustrated, the Big Ten has officially changed its policy that teams must play a minimum of 6 games in order to make the conference championship, meaning Ohio State will now play Northwestern in the conference championship game. So, according to Pat 40 and Sports Illustrated, that is now official. And shout out to Porter Hayes for sending that to me from the Hawk Talk podcast.
One of the least surprising things I've ever heard. Let's go to the phones. Taz is on the phone here. Hey, Taz, what are you up to?
Hey, guys, what's going on?
Hey, you devil, you.
Ha!
Hey, SmackDown. I called you the other day.
You did, yes, sir.
It was Monday. Yes, and you told me to call back in.
I did.
I had an idea for a new name for Mr. Ty Richardson. I told SmackDown, don't worry about losing to him because you lost to a guy with a Karen haircut. So this is perfect for this WWE. He could just go as Karen Richardson.
Yes.
He could wear a lunch lady outfit, all the works.
Yes. He told me, he called in Monday right after the show went off the air. He missed it just by a little bit, so I wanted him to call back in and share that nickname.
I thought the male version of Karen was Ken. Can he be Ken Richardson? Can he be Kenneth? We ask him what the frequency is today.
Thank you, guys. I just had to call in real quick.
Appreciate it, Taz.
Thank you, Taz. Everybody's here. We are. We're talking basketball, and I just want to lay new nicknames down on people.
Hey, that's what we do. That's what halftime is. We're all good and fun. Like you say, if you want to jump in on anything we talk about, give us a call. It's 877-377-6963.
So tonight, I have a first for me tonight here, SmackDown, and I thought I wasn't going to do this until the SEC opener for the Hogs women's basketball team against Kentucky because we're not traveling for any of the SEC games. Nobody is. But tonight I'm doing a game off a monitor for the first time in my life.
See, you had this on the right, and I knew we were going to talk about this eventually, and we've talked about this off the air and with different people, but how do you prepare for something which I know after the show today you're going to kind of get the setup and get everything ready to rock and roll, but
I'm just going to I'm going to prepare exactly the way I would as if I was there in person. All the same prep and everything. It's just I'm not on the floor. I can't see everything that I guess I'm used to seeing, but it's a whole different perspective on the game too, from a little higher up. Maybe I can see the play develop a little quicker, a little easier. And I'm also this is also a matter of all these other people have had to adjust.
Right.
All the athletes have had to make certain adjustments. The coaches have. Look at the way they have to talk during timeouts, for crying out loud. I don't know, with the music blaring, I don't know how they can hear anybody from 6.5 feet away, even 7 feet away.
That's true.
In that diffused circle, and they've got to be able to communicate. I don't know how they do that. Everybody's had to make some adjustments, so this is my adjustment.
Matty brought up a good point in between commercials when we were talking about the remote broadcast. Is this something that's going to stick around post-pandemic when we start to get back to normal? If that's like not necessarily what you said, like a cost-cutting measure,
smaller organizations when they realize how much they're saving on hotel stays and stuff for their play-by-play.
Well, and I think now it has more to do with health reasons, or safety or anything like that. But there certainly is money saved by not sending anybody on the road. I'll tell you what, though, it's an inferior product for a radio broadcast to not be there in person, because and part of it is the reason that a team has a broadcaster attached to them, not just so he or she can give you the score and the time and all of that, but to actually be around the players and the coaches and see how they interact and be around them at practice and watch what they're working on and get the real story of the team outside of just the stuff that's happening on the court. And then, for basketball, look, you can do a game on a television for basketball. It's a small enclosed square. You I think you can see what you need to see. Do not keep me in a studio for baseball. Major League Baseball might have been able to pull it off. That was more out of emergencies than anything else. College baseball cannot pull it off. You do not have the camera angles or the camera operators or the number of cameras necessary to actually be able to have a radio broadcast off of a monitor or a set of monitors. For basketball, you can. For football, I think it's doable too.
I could almost see this, like the remote broadcast sticking around for, like, maybe not necessarily radio with collegiate radio with, like, in your case or Chuck Bed or anything like that, but maybe like the lower tier ESPN crews, like your 11 a.m. crews. Maybe this does stick around for them, but definitely not with, like, Kirk Herbstreit, Fowler, Al Michaels, those big names.
ESPN's already trying to save money.
Exactly.
Cutting people.
Well, I think ESPN's going to be keeping a lot of their people at home. I do. Al Michaels always going to be on the road with Chris. They got to do the slide in, once they're allowed to do it again. Once they're allowed. And by the way,
maybe we need to start doing that on our show.
This has nothing to do with per diem or nights out on the road. Maybe a little bit. I mean, that's fun and all that, but it's really
that's where memories are made right there.
It's really about delivering the best broadcast possible. That's all it's about. Hey, don't forget Baxter Regional Medical Center follows all state and CDC guidelines, keeping you safe. They're committed to providing excellent care to every patient every time. They do ask that you wear a mask and you maintain 6 feet of social distance when you're inside any of their facilities. Schedule free COVID testing until December 11th, 870-508-7047 for an appointment.
I love Arkansas. I love everything here. Give me that thing here. Woo!
Your home for every Razorback football game.
College to midfield, the 40, the 30, College at the 20, to the 10, to the 5, to the pylon. Touchdown, Arkansas!
As you can tell, this means a lot,
Only on ESPN 95.3.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco for hard work and the great outdoors.
With quality and price and comfort you like, and savings that you're looking for.
We've got the shoes and boots, steel toes too, outerwear and a whole lot more.
Head to toe, it's gotta be Jelco.
For hard work and the great outdoors.
You have work to do. You need a tractor that helps get it done. TYM has the full range of tractors designed to meet the task. With the TYM easy-to-use controls and features, switching from one job to another is easy. And with the full range of models from 19 horsepower to 105 horsepower turbo, there is a TYM tractor that's right for the job and for you. But you can't buy a TYM tractor just anywhere. It's only sold at authorized TYM dealers like Bush Tractor, 7301 South Zero, Fort Smith.
It may be fall, but the grass is still growing, and Alma Tractor has great deals on Skag zero-turn mowers. Skag mowers are simply the best. No cutting corners, and they beat the competition hands down. Get 0% financing for up to 60 months with approved credit on all in-stock Skag mowers through the end of the year. It's the best mower you will ever own. Come get yours today at Alma Tractor and Equipment in Alma.
Right now, we are all being put to the test by COVID-19, but there are things we can do to stop the spread. Wash your hands often and throughout the day. When you go out, wear a face covering and keep at least 6 feet between yourself and others. Take care of those more at risk. If you have symptoms or have been exposed to someone with COVID-19, get tested. Save lives. Stop the spread. Learn more at healthy.arkansas.gov. This message brought to you by the Arkansas Department of Health.
This is Happy from Hardee's. Listen closely. Do you hear that? That's the sizzling sound of 2 1/3-pound juicy Angus beef patties stacked with 4 strips of bacon on the Monster Angus Thick Burger. You're getting hungry for the bacon. You're driving to the Angus beef. But wait, don't take your eyes off the road for the monster. When I snap my star fingers, you'll pull into the nearest Hardee's and order the Monster Angus Thick Burger. Feed your happy.
Available at participating restaurants. Price and participation may vary.
With over 40 years combined experience, the team at the law offices of Craig L. Cook understand the definition of work. Real work. Working for you. Whether you've been injured in an auto accident, on the job, a victim of nursing home negligence, or need help navigating bankruptcy, Social Security, wills, trusts, estates, or family law issues, Craig Cook will go to work for you. Call us today, 479-783-8000. The law offices of Craig L. Cook, with locations in Arkansas and Oklahoma. We work for working people.
To power
Powerball jackpot from the Arkansas Scholarship Lottery is now more than $200 million. So, what would you do if you won?
Oh, I would throw a joyous party, probably. Celebrate with the worst dance moves anybody's ever seen before.
I would spoil my little brothers.
Got your ticket? If not, visit your local lottery retailer for your chance to win the Powerball jackpot of more than $200 million. This is winning. Call 1-800-522-4700 for Problem Gambling Helpline.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Third goal. Frank's going to dump it at the goal line. Complete. Touchdown, Arkansas. Touchdown, Traylon Smith.
Find us on 99.5 and 1290 in Northwest Arkansas, 95.3 in Fort Smith in the River Valley, 96.3 in Hot Springs in Central Arkansas, 104.3 in Harrison and Mountain Home, and everywhere on hitthatline.com. Now, back to the guys. Here's Phil Elson, Matty T, and Smackdown.
Bill King will join us in about 12 minutes, talk some college football. I can't wait to get Bill's opinion on this Big Ten stuff.
Oh, this is going to be fun.
Oh, it really will.
Fun for us to listen to.
877-377-6963 to get with us on a call or a text. We will also wrap it up with Change My Mind. Somebody tweeted at me yesterday during the football game about this stupid announcer's jinx that people are charging Joe Buck with. So we'll have a little fun with that later. Robert in Fort Smith is with us. Robert, what's going on? How you doing?
Not bad, guys. You know, I'm kind of like you with this, though, with Ohio State. 6 games. It says you have to have, 7 games to get into the championship, right?
6. I think it was 6.
Okay. They're not going to have 6, so, and I know they could reschedule this game, and I'm just not getting it. And, two, when you have Bill on, I used to listen to Bill when he was Sirius, and he used to call West Virginia, West by God, Virginia. He's good at what he does, guys, and I'm glad you got him on. And I'll just listen to y'all, see what your thoughts, if you might even think that game will be rescheduled.
Okay, well, as I understood, the Big Ten left themselves absolutely no leeway to be rescheduled, to be able to reschedule any games. Isn't the Big Ten championship game next week?
Next week, but I think not even necessarily that. The problem is the college football playoff reveal is next Sunday. That's more the overarching problem than necessarily the championship game, because, yes, they could probably theoretically get it scheduled, but there's no time. They left themselves no wiggle room, where the SEC or the ACC, obviously they had the 2-week window, and then they had other avenues to like pick and choose kind of where they wanted to play games. So it's going to be a mess, and part of me thinks like if they don't get in, obviously there's going to be an uproar from the Big Ten possibly, or Ohio State just in general. But if they get in off of a 6-game schedule, or a 5-game schedule, and winning a conference championship to make them 6-0.
Well, they're going to. I mean, obviously here,
which it's fixing to happen.
To play in their conference championship.
So let's just
6 games that much different than 11. Again, that's a little more than half of the games that Alabama or Notre Dame has played.
I would argue no. Only if it all depends on the opponents. Which I think collectively, when you look at the Big Ten and how they've looked this year, the Big Ten has stunk this year. It's just been Ohio State, and Indiana's been the surprise of the team, but Michigan was horrible. Michigan State stunk. I mean, the Big Ten as a whole was down. If Ohio State had maybe 1-2 more ranked opponents, a Wisconsin, Michigan, maybe a Michigan State, or something else other than a 12th ranked Indiana team who they were 24-point dogs against, and they beat them only by 7. Yeah, Ohio State doesn't have that marquee victory like an Alabama does, like a Notre Dame has.
Penn State was supposed to be marquee, but they lost their running back. I mean, they lost a lot of players to opt-outs and injuries, and they just weren't any good this year. So it's not marquee. A win over Michigan State usually should mean something. It doesn't. A win over Michigan this year would not have meant the same as it does. But then again, I mean, and somebody makes the point earlier here, and I passed over the text, unfortunately, Chandler and Van Buren, they're undefeated. Can't help but play the games that they're allowed to play, and they wanted to play more.
Right.
I mean, he's right about that, but then again, you kind of have to take the bath in the water that you poured for yourself, right?
Right.
And the bath was poured by the Big Ten, so Ohio State's part of the Big Ten, no matter how much it sounded like they might not have wanted to be when the season was canceled back in August.
Probably the best thing if you're just a college football fan in general, the best thing that could theoretically happen, and see if you agree, what would really be the best thing to happen if Florida beats Alabama. Obviously, Florida would probably get in just based off being the SEC champ, and there ain't no way in God's good name that they're leaving out Alabama as a one-loss team, only loss coming in the SEC championship. So if that's the case, and then you throw so you got that in your mind. Then you throw in basically the winner of the ACC is going to be in, and I think the loser's out regardless, especially if it's Clemson.
Wait a minute, are you telling me that if Clemson beats Notre Dame does not make it into a playoff?
Just
even with a win over Clemson. I think I put Notre Dame ahead of Clemson in the rankings right now because.
Obviously you do, but so if Clemson beats Notre Dame, you still think Notre Dame slips in? And they just kind of flip flop the spots.
I could make a case for it.
All right, well let's just go with we'll just go with that right now. But I mean, whatever happens, if Florida beats Alabama, Ohio State ain't getting in regardless. Don't you think?
Yeah,
okay,
I don't think you.
That was
doubt
my
you
point.
leave Alabama out, and there's a legitimate shot that you can end up with 2 SEC versus 2 ACC teams.
Very well, could
turn this into a two-conference two-step, and I think a lot of college football fans would be just fine with it too, because the Big 12 doesn't have anybody that's really qualified to be in there now. Their best team is Iowa State, 2 losses, not going to happen. Pac-12's not even part of the conversation now, and the Big 10. Man, they're like tweaking their own rules
to be part of the conversation.
To be part of the conversation.
Yes.
So let's just make this a whole SEC versus AC thing.
It's going to be a fun next week and a half here, especially once you get conference championships done this coming Sunday or next Sunday, or Saturday, excuse me. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a lot of fun heading into Christmas with the reveal being the 20th, and then the week leading up to Christmas, and we'll have plenty of content for you to talk about.
By the way, speaking of the holidays, you know what tomorrow is?
Is it
tomorrow's the first day of Hanukkah.
That's right.
Happy Hanukkah.
Slap on your yarmulke. It's time for Hanukkah. We may have to do
so much Hanukkah.
It is so much Hanukkah. So grab your harmonica. We may have to do like an on-show candle lighting ceremony once per day. You know, we're supposed to light the candles when the sun sets.
Dreidel. I feel you full of.
Oh, I would love to play dreidel with you on the air. You would have no clue what you're doing. Maybe
I really don't.
Maybe I'll even fry up some latkes during the show. Gosh, we're going to turn this into a Judaica sports show just for a few days for Hanukkah. It's not even a major holiday. Goodness gracious.
Man.
You know it is major? Some chicken wings I made yesterday. The only place you could get some better wings than at my house is Buffalo Wild Wings.
And Buffalo Wild Wings has you covered. Lots of great wing sauces. My personal favorite, the honey barbecue. Matty T's favorite, the mango habanero. Phil's favorite, obviously, is the new Carolina Reaper blazing sauce. Lots of great options for you at Buffalo Wild Wings. You can find locations in Fort Smith, Little Rock, Sherwood, Jonesboro, and in Conway, and that's only at Buffalo Wild Wings. Roar!
Grab your dreidel. Bill King is next. Stay tuned.
The all-new Wheels RV in Northwest Arkansas wants you to get out and explore this fall. Wheels has the luxury brands you can depend on to keep you camping. Brands like Grand Design, Alliance, KZ, and the all-new solar-powered Vibe. And with a lifetime warranty on every new unit and a mobile service shuttle, you can relax and know that your RV will stay like new year after year. Wheels RV, 5 miles west of exit 72 off I-49 in Springdale. See, explore, discover with Wheels RV.
Build your business with 100% fiber, internet, voice, and cloud services from Ritter Communications. Whether you're a one-man woodworking shop who needs fast, reliable internet complete with TV service, or you're a construction enterprise needing managed voice and networking to connect your multiple sites, our helpful, Arkansas-based team will create a custom solution for you. Visit RitterBusiness.com or give them a call at 888-336-4249 to learn more.
Randall Ford is excited to announce their state-of-the-art mobile service van, stocked with all the latest tools and technology needed to service your vehicle. Everything from oil changes, warranty repair, battery, software updates, brake jobs, and so much more. All is done with your convenience and safety in mind. We'll come to your office or home to provide professional service the Randall Ford way. Stop by today at Randall Ford, 5500 Rogers Avenue, or check us out online 24/7. RandallFord.com. Ford, the #1 selling brand in America.
Hi, this is Lindsay White with White Office Machines. For over 90 years, my family's been serving the greater Fort Smith region with the image industry's newest technologies, as well as providing superior customer service through long-term business relationships. As the area's only authorized Kyocera document solutions dealer, White Office Machines provides the best value with high-speed copiers and the latest multifunction printers. Stop by our office in downtown Fort Smith or in Russellville. Follow us on Facebook or go to whiteoffice.com.
White Office Machines since 1929.
Do you have sleep apnea? Are you tired of dealing with a CPAP every night? The noise, the constant cleaning, your wife telling you she can't take the noise anymore. Dr. Bo Sparkman at Family Dental Care of Fort Smith can help you with sleep apnea with a custom dental appliance that allows you to get rid of that annoying CPAP. Dr. Sparkman has years of experience and has treated hundreds of patients just like you. Call for your appointment today, 785-1419. That's 785-1419. Get rid of your CPAP with Family Dental Care of Fort Smith.
Socks, what kind of shameful gift is that? Take pride in your generosity this year and give them the key to the promised land. Gift cards from Buffalo Wild Wings. And when you spend $25 on gift cards before December 31st, you get $5 bonus on us. This is just one of the ways that Buffalo Wild Wings is getting you ready for the holiday season. If free wings doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will. So quit creating future laundry for your loved ones unless it's covered in wing sauce. Offer valid at participating locations. See Buffalo Wild Wings for details or visit online at buffalowildwings.com.
Roar! Tommy Kraft here for the Fence Man. Do you own a business that needs more security? Or maybe you just want a better look and more curb appeal? A new fence from the Fence Man can give you both. In business for more than 40 years, the Fence Man can custom install any type of fencing, gates, and controlled access for your business. Call the Fence Man and ask about 18 months same as cash financing with approved credit. 479-782-3936. That's 479-782-3936. The Fence Man. He ain't afraid of no work.
Is your Arkansas home at least 10 years old and served by OG&E? OG&E is offering Arkansas customers a no-cost-to-you program to increase your comfort and lower your bills. A trained crew will perform an energy audit at no cost to you, and if your home qualifies, their crews will install measures that can include attic insulation, LED light bulbs, weather stripping, advanced power strips, smoke alarms, carbon monoxide detectors, and much more. The services provided through this program are at no cost to you for qualifying homes. If you or someone you know could benefit from home weatherization improvements, call OG&E today at 800-272-9741. That's 800-272-9741.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
I love winning, man. I love winning. You hear what I'm saying? It's like better than losing. Who in this party's off the hook?
Keep winning with the latest download of the Halftime Podcast presented by Jeff's Clubhouse. And keep up with everything happening in Razorback Land at hitthatline.com. It'll make you feel good.
I feel fantastic.
Like goat good.
I'm going to prove I'm the greatest. We're going to prove to the world I'm the greatest.
Of course he's the GOAT. May not be the boat. The best of all time.
I was going to rip his heart out. I'm the best ever. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. I'm going to eat some raw meat, and I'm going to train. I'm going to get ready and chop some more trees.
Greatest coach in the history of college football. He is the GOAT, clearly.
There's no one can stop me. I'm the best ever. Today, I'm the greatest of all time. Thank you. Ain't no shame in my game, girl.
Been looking forward to this spot with Bill King ever since I saw the outcome of the chaos in the cantina.
Oh, no.
We'll get into the college football stuff here with Bill in a moment because out of all the people that we asked opinions about the chaos in the cantina, the one person who does know Ty Richardson well, because he worked with him at Nashville Sports Radio for a while, he used the term, Ty's sneaky. He is sneaky. I think Bill called the upset when it happened. And to him, maybe it isn't that much of an upset. But, Bill, you might still be upset with SmackDown for his lack of competing.
Well, I would have bet on the big man, but I was just laying some precaution there. Ty you look at him, you don't think he's going to eat fast and all that, but he is obsessed. He's always tweeting some kind of meal, some kind of place he's going to. So that might indicate he's more of a pro than we think he is.
Oh, he was definitely a pro Saturday. I'll be the first to admit I probably took him a little bit lightly, but Bill, I have never in my life, and I'm 27, fixed to be 28 here in a month, I've never seen a human eat tacos the way that boy was eating tacos Saturday.
Now, at some point, is there video on Twitter of this, or is there proof?
Sadly, there is video.
It's being sent to the Radio Hall of Fame because it's really that good. And I put it on the same level as, Pitt beating West Virginia to knock them out of a national title chance. Arkansas defeating number 1 LSU in Baton Rouge.
Okay, it's okay now.
Buster Douglas over Mike Tyson.
Okay.
You know what upset we really need, Bill King? We all badly need Northwestern to beat Ohio State in what's going to be a Big Ten championship game. Are we all Northwestern fans now?
That game will be over the very first time somebody kicks off. That's how one-sided that game will be. Oh, that game's not worth watching.
Well, what do you make out of this deal with the Big Ten? Because, I liken them to a relationship partner that you just can never trust what they say ever again. We saw it from the start of the football season, even before the football season started, when camp started, when they tweet out a schedule. 2 days later, forget about the schedule, we're not going to play this year. Then all of a sudden, in a month after that, oh, yeah, we're going to play, but we're going to play in a month. We're going to have this threshold of 6 games for a championship game. Oh, but now, by the way, since our best team can't play in that, we're going to change that up. I don't think any of us can trust the Big Ten ever again.
True, and we've talked about it a lot. This was expected. Now, would they do it if it was a brand like Northwestern that needed to tweak? No, I don't think they would. But the Buckeyes are the team in the league, the brand in the league, and we're talking about football, obviously, because that is the sport that matters the most. But let's not forget, to add to their foolishness, meaning the Big Ten and their lack thereof leadership, they don't want to be playing right now. They're not playing because everybody else is playing. They're playing because of lawsuits, and they did not want discovery because their chicanery would have been discovered, and it would have been bad. That's why they're playing. They had no intention. Matter of fact, their intention was to start the crash of the college football season because they knew they had the the Pac-12, and they hoped that might lead to, let's say, in the SEC succumbing, and it didn't happen. So they have been foolish and idiotic and buffoons from the very beginning, from at least August forward.
Yeah, I remember you likening it to they don't want the hood to be opened up so you can get a look at the engine. I remember you saying those exact words. So then what about the thought of a 6-0 Ohio State team making it to the college football playoff over potentially a 10-1 Notre Dame team or a one-loss Texas A&M team? How can you justify – how can that be justified?
If the Notre Dame won – loss is reasonable against Clemson, that won't be taken from Notre Dame. And if Florida loses to Alabama, which I expect they do, then Florida's not getting in. A&M's not getting that slot. Ohio State. So you're going to have all the chalk. Under that scenario, you'd have Clemson, Notre Dame, Alabama, Ohio State. So I think it sounds to me, you got to remember the guy speaking for the committee on that show on Tuesday nights, which I didn't even watch last night, is Gary Barta. He's the Iowa guy. And he is pro-Ohio State. Now, I know there's not just a vote there. There's a committee. But I think he's speaking for them. And I'm conflicted, guys, because you do have the game consideration, but I'm also convinced Ohio State's a top 4 team. And I do know this. This came up on the show this morning. If the SEC found themselves in the same predicament, and Alabama had 5-6 wins, they'd be squawking from the heavens down here. Mm-hmm. You got to admit, man, it'd be nuts down here. So I'm not as bad about it as some others are.
Bill King here with us on Halftime. Bill, let's switch the subject. We'll keep it with SEC football, but I want to get your thoughts too. Shane Beamer, the new head coach of the South Carolina Gamecocks. What'd you make of the hire with South Carolina? Do you think this is the right hire for the Gamecocks?
I'm conflicted here too because I know Shane and I like Shane, and he doesn't have the resume for this job. It's a tough job no matter what. They weren't going to go get well, now they've in the past they've had some home run hits with Spurrier and Holtz, but those days are over. I don't see anything like that. So anybody they get was going to have to be some sort of a reach, and I don't think under Ray Tanner and the presidents there they could have ever gotten Hugh Freeze past the committee, past the interview. They just don't play that crap. Those are military kind of guys. So it was going to be a reach, but this is a guy who has never been a coordinator. Now, he's a good recruiter. I know about him there, and he's a good dude. He'll say all the right things, and I hope the best for him, but they're not going to change anything at South Carolina with this hire.
I tend to agree with you. Hopefully all the success will work out for him there. But you never know what you get because you're in such a tough spot, I guess, because every year you got Clemson, and Clemson ain't falling off the wagon anytime soon as far as their ranking in the ACC and everything with the National League. When you look at the schedule coming up this weekend for college football, particularly here in the SEC, the matchup, and I don't think it's necessarily going to be a good one, but I'm intrigued just for what could possibly happen. Do you think there's any way, in God's good name, that Vanderbilt could sneak up and beat Tennessee?
Oh, yeah. Tennessee's awful. I mean, you talk about capitulation. I don't know what Tennessee's doing. I figured if 10 games, they'd probably go 6-4, and they're probably going to end up, 2 or 3 wins, what they're going to end up with. Now, Vanderbilt doesn't have anything left either. They're down. They've had a lot of opt-outs. The coach is gone. They've got controversy on the side. But I think, look, guys, if you ask me about Tennessee playing Arkansas Auto Diesel College, I'd say probably take the Diesel College right now. Tennessee is in awful shape.
How long do you think we see Alabama starters on Saturday here in Fayetteville?
Oh, I think Nick. Think about Nick now. Nick, at least halftime. At least, because he doesn't want to. Here's the thing about coaches you got to remember: they don't like to get out of sync. And you set people, and then you say we're just going to flip a switch. That scares coaches. You'll see him on into the third quarter probably a bit, but then you've got the other balance guys of getting people hurt. So, but I don't. Coaches always get spastic over, okay, if we've got all these plans to play the young guys, and then if things go bad and you got to put the starters back in and then they play poorly, you've lost your momo. So at that work, coaches are spastic like that. They're paranoid like that. So you always have to remember.
All right, let me see. I want to ask one more question about a coach, and I'm not quite sure which direction to go in. I want to talk coaches that have done a great job or coaches that have done a poor job. Let's go in the negative direction here for a brief moment here. Which of these coaches gets to keep his job when the season is over? Jim Harbaugh, Tom Herman, Jeremy Pruitt.
Pruitt's not getting fired. I don't think Herman is either.
What is it about Herman? Because of Texas, I mean, there's so much smoke there. Is it monetary concerns? Is it pandemic concerns? Or is it a matter like I hear like in Michigan, it's like, well, who are we going to go get? They're not going to get Urban Meyer. Who are you going to go get? They're not quite sure.
You're not going to get Urban Meyer because they have talked to him. They've offered him all the money. It's not about the payout. I don't think Texas has got as much money as anybody on the planet. I think it's what's the alternative. And not that one game should matter, but they did put up almost 70 on Kansas State. Whether it's good or bad, I mean, that does buy him a breath. They could make a move, but I just don't know if they're as hurried as everybody thinks. And Harbaugh, they're discussing an extension with him. That won't be the same money. So I think either he gets an extension with a very tight leash or he leaves for the NFL.
Interesting. So what about on the other side? Who's done the best job in the SEC this year that you can see? And, I mean, it's so easy to go with Saban, of course, but, I mean, there's reasons why. I mean, I think any coach that's taken his team through this pandemic and is undefeated, that's got to stand for something. Talent nonetheless. I think Saban's still done an incredible job.
He has. What happens, we all know in any sport, is the guy that wins and continues to win gets taken for granted. He's winning. You know, he's got all these players. Well, who started? Who built it up? He inherited a garbage heap from Mike Shula and had to fix all that and mend all that. But I think Pittman, there for a while, still may hang on to it. He's done a very good job. And most voters, when it comes to these items, like the story about the guy who did more with way less than anybody thought he would do.
Mm-hmm. I think you're right about that, Bill. Hey, we'll leave it there. Appreciate you
Okay.
as always. Have
Thank
a
you,
great
guys.
week and enjoy the games this week. And I think that's also one of the reasons why Barry Odom is nominated for the Broyles Award.
I agree.
You know, I mean, a lot of the numbers about this defense are not good, but just watch the eye test and how well they've performed in a handful of games. It's a heck of a lot of a better defense. Still, some of the numbers are not pretty. What can be pretty, though, SmackDown, is winning a bicycle. 2 bicycles were given away at hitthatline.com.
One of the 3 big giveaways we're fixing to tell you about, and another one here coming up next on Halftime. But this one, the Champion Cycling giveaway, is happening right now. You have a chance to win 2 Allays road bikes, one an adult road bike, and another specialized 12-inch Rip Rock kids bike. Head to hitthatline.com right now. Click on the free bike link at the top of your screen. Leave us your info. We'll pick a pair of random winners coming very soon. The last day to enter is December 18th. Make sure you head over to Champion Cycling and hitthatline.com to find out more. Change our mind. Next.
The best TV experience in the nation is available locally with personal service from WOW World of Wireless, your neighborhood professional Dish authorized retailer. Dish has the Hopper 3, the most advanced DVR, and delivers a premium viewing experience. Tired of running out of DVR space? With the Hopper 3, you can record up to 2,000 hours of your favorite programming and watch your very own favorite channels and DVR recording anywhere you go on your phone or tablet. Call now, WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474 for more details, or visit us online at shopwownow.com. Get the Hopper 3 today by calling WOW World of Wireless at 877-305-DISH. That's 877-305-3474, or online at shopwownow.com.
Monthly equipment fees and other restrictions apply. Recording hours vary. 2,000 hours based on SD programming. Remote viewing requires internet connection and compatible mobile device. World of Wireless has moved just a few miles east, next to Frank Rowe Furniture in Barling.
Light up the season with savings at Road Chevrolet. Now's the time. We're lighting up the season with Chevy employee discount for everyone. Yes, the Chevy price you pay is what Chevy employees pay, and not a cent more. That means up to $10,000 off MSRP on a new 2020 Chevy Silverado Crew Cab 4x4 at Road Chevrolet, conveniently located at exit 2A off I-540 in Van Buren, or roadchevy.com. Chevy, find new roads. Savings includes factory incentives and dealer savings. See dealer for details. Ends 1/4/21.
This is Sue from the paint store. And you know those big box retailers can't compete with the experience and expert-friendly advice we give you here at the paint store in Van Buren. I've tested myself, then chosen just the right blend of Richards Paints to give you the best performance. Richards Paints is a company with the same philosophy as us: top-notch coverage, extreme washability. The bonus for you is the friendly expert advice you get free with every gallon. Call 474-4505 or stop by and see us at 1414 Fayetteville Road. We'll see you soon.
Every day, 22 of our heroes take their own life. The effects of military service can be too much.
I'll cover you. I'll cover you. Let's move.
You were ready to fight for them in war.
I got you. I got you.
Are you ready to fight for them now? If you know a veteran that could use a little help, call 1-800-542-1031 today.
Standard Materials Group has immediate openings for ready-mix drivers in the Northwest Arkansas area. If you have a CDL license without an automatic restriction and want to be home every night, want to work with a company that offers great pay, benefits, and a great team environment with growth opportunity, apply today at jobs.crh.com. Again, that's jobs.crh.com. Standard Materials Group is an equal opportunity employer.
Looking for that perfect gift for your off-road enthusiasts? Come get you some. The largest 4x4 shop in the state with the most in-stock inventory is the place to shop. They have everything from power-based soundbars, side-by-side parts, tires, leveling kits, exhaust, and accessories for your Jeep. Need a stocking stuffer? They have gift certificates for that hard-to-buy Ford guy on your list. Stop by today at 2728 Towson Avenue in Fort Smith or call 782-6833. That's 782-MUD. You can also check them out online at cgysoffroad.com. Come get you some.
Are you ready to take the next step? Want to make real money? How about averaging $2,800 per week? United Welding Institute is accepting new students to shape into high-paid career welders. Graduates of United Welding Institute find great-paying jobs in the oil field, power plants, refineries, pipelines, and more. United Welding Institute in Pottsville, Arkansas has been training professional field-tested welders since 2013. Change your life and call 479-968-3390 or visit UnitedWeldingInstitute.com.
This is ESPN 95.3. You're listening to Halftime with Phil Elson, Matty T, and Matt Smackdown Jenkins.
Franks is in the gun, gets the snap. He's going to throw a slant. Woods in the end zone, complete touchdown, Arkansas.
The Morning Rush, Halftime, Ruskin and Zach, the Hog Talk Podcast. Fantasy Football Sunday and Primetime Preps, all available on the Hit That Line Podcast Network. Just type Hit That Line wherever you listen to podcasts. Our podcasts are on iTunes, Spotify, SoundCloud, hitthatline.com, Anchor, TuneIn, Stitcher, and Google Play.
All right, we'll wrap the show up with Change My Mind in a moment. Big moment tomorrow in exactly 24 hours-ish.
It's the biggest moment of the week.
If you go to hitthatline.com and enter to win the Hardee's Lunch Bunch, you might be munching down on some delicious Hardee's Thick Burgers with your friends at work anytime soon. You can only enter right now at hitthatline.com, right, Smackdown?
Yeah, just click on the Lunch Bunch button at the top of your screen. Leave us your info, and like you said, tomorrow at this very exact moment, Matty T will cue up the drum roll music, and we will give away Hardee's Lunch Bunch tomorrow. So make sure you get entered today. You can enter once per day every day, and that's only at hitthatline.com, and that's brought to you by Hardee's in Northwest Arkansas and the River Valley.
All right, so let's wrap it up. Change my mind.
Did she just change my mind?
Now, I don't care what you say.
Nothing can make me change my mind.
I won't change my mind about you.
Why are you the way that you are? Honestly, every time I try to do something fun or exciting, you make it not that way. I hate so much about the things that you choose to be.
Oh, that is just so disrespectful for you to say something like that. Say it with your chest.
Change my mind.
All right, Smackdown, I'm going to let you start with yours first.
I'll go quick with mine. I was going to bring this up for Get Off My Lawn, but I think it works better for Change My Mind. The story of Alex Smith, the Washington football team's quarterback, has been nothing short of stellar. I don't even think stellar is the right adjective to put in front of what this guy has been through as a player, as a person, as a family man, a husband. If you haven't seen the E60 episode that really documents his troubles with his leg, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, he absolutely destroyed his leg 2 years. Was it 2018? I believe is when the injury occurred.
Yeah, it was over 2 years ago.
Over 2 years ago, and countless surgeries. Damn near died because of an infection in his leg, a flesh-eating virus. If you haven't seen the E60 profile that they did on him, it's graphic. I will tell you that. But if you can get past that part, it's touching.
I watched it, and I was able to watch because I can watch horror movies, Smackdown. You can't, so I don't think
I made it through.
Watch this.
I made it through. I made it through the E60 one.
Okay.
There's a difference between that and The Exorcist.
Your Change My Mind is Alex Smith deserves comeback player of the year.
It's shouldn't even be a question. The fact that he, for everything that he went through, it probably shouldn't be playing football, period. But the fact that he was able to and come back and he's been successful and he beat, and I'm not dogging your Steelers at all because it's hard enough to go undefeated, but he still led the team to beat the undefeated Steelers. It shouldn't even be up. It shouldn't even be up for discussion at this point.
See how many games has Smith played in? He's played in 5 games. I really started the last 4. I thought maybe it was just a couple of games. There are other candidates that I think deserve To be mentioned here, Cam Newton, A.J. Green, Roethlisberger.
Roethlisberger needs to be in there.
Another one.
I just think, but when you
Roethlisberger's had a better season than Smith, but the story of Smith with how close that he came to not just the end of his career, but losing his leg in his life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean that's a difficult mind to change.
So you ain't changing my mind about that. So should just be up for discussion. It's the Alex Smith NFL Comeback Up Player of the Year.
Okay, so obviously there's another thing that you and nobody else could ever change my mind about. Ty yesterday.
Yeah.
Now I did not watch Cowboys Ravens game yesterday. So why did Ty tweet at me about this stupid announcer jinx with Joe Buck?
Because you know what Ty does. That's how Ty is.
No, but I don't know what happened.
You don't know. Oh, I thought you knew. Okay, so
I'm assuming this usually has something to do with like a field goal.
Oh, it does. So Justin Tucker, the Baltimore Ravens kicker. By the way, Cowboys look pretty decent in the first half, and then the second half, all hell broke loose, just like it always does with Cowboys games.
Change SmackDown's mind. Cowboys stink. Can't do it. Keep talking.
Oh, I agree. Anyway, Justin Tucker lines up for, I believe it was a 25-yard field goal. I think is what it was. A short field goal. Justin Tucker had made, I believe the stat was 70 in a row from inside the 20.
Wow.
Joe Buck and Troy Aikman bring the stat up, and then he proceeds to break the streak, and he misses the field goal.
Okay, so then what happened to the previous 39 times somebody had mentioned that he hadn't missed a field goal within 40 yards, and he still made it? The one time that he misses, out of the dozens of other times that a television or radio announcer has mentioned this streak that Tucker has been on, and the one time he misses, of course, it's blamed on the announcer. The announcer never gets credit when he or she mentions a stat, and that stat's truth comes right in front of your eyes once again.
It was a 36-yard field goal. I went back to make sure I told you right. It was a 36-yard field goal. It was wide left in the second quarter. Previously, he had made 70 straight field goals inside the 40-yard line. No other kicker in league history had made more than 67 in a row.
Look, let me tell you this. Taylor Thomas, who's Arkansas' senior forward, has not missed a free throw yet this year. I've mentioned it every single time she has stepped to the foul line. Amber Ramirez is 14 of 16 of the foul line. I've mentioned it every time that she steps to the line, and I will continue to, no matter what the situation is. And at halftime of Sunday's game against Baylor, with Arkansas leading, and I take off my headset, put on my mask, Jerry Thorpe is standing there. Jerry used to be the sports information director for women's basketball for over 20 years. And I said to Jerry, I think they could win this game, Jerry. And she shoots me the sharpest, nastiest looking daggers you've ever seen in your life. And she says, really? Did you really just say that? And Jerry knows me well enough. I said, of course, Jerry, I don't believe in that crap. And who won the game? Huh? Did you see the final score Sunday at Bud Walton Arena?
Who won?
Yeah,
Remind me.
Arkansas won, even though I mentioned that they probably could win the game at halftime to somebody. Look, all you people out there, I love you. I love all of you, but you believe in the boogeyman, the Loch Ness Monster, Flat Earth, the Babadook, Bigfoot, Elvis, and Marilyn Monroe and Tupac all shacking up together on some deserted island. The Hogs really beat Auburn this year. The Fook Monster exists. Ghosts, Ouija boards. The moon landing was fake. Step on a crack, break your mom's back, and the Blair Witch. So let me end the show with this thought. The announcer jinx is true. May God strike me dead today.
Nothing happened.
I don't know how to respond to that.
Ooh, wait a minute. I got a little itch on my side here.
Is that your scab from your training wheel accident?
Oh, I just lost the sight in one of my eyes.
Oh no. By the way, Justin Tucker is still the most accurate kicker in NFL history. He's made 284 of 313 field goals for 90%.
And it is worth mentioning every single time that he approaches a football for a field goal. Otherwise, you're not doing your job, Mr. Radio broadcaster or TV announcer. And you know what? Joe Buck knows that. That's why Joe Buck is as good as he is.
Did you see how aggressive he just got holding that microphone? He grabbed the. My God.
Mm-hmm. There are.
So you don't believe it. So I think the moral of the story is you don't believe in announcer jinxes.
It's not that I don't believe in it. It doesn't exist.
Oh,
it's not a thing.
Okay.
I don't need to believe or not believe in it because it doesn't exist. I also don't believe in the boogeyman and the Fook monster and that the moon landing was fake. Because there's proof of these things, just like there's proof that the stupid announcer jinx does not exist. So get off my lawn and don't ever try to change my mind because I'm obstinate about that and look obstinate up in the dictionary. And yes, it describes him perfectly. For SmackDown and Matty T, this is Phil. Good to be with you today. Now get up, get out, and get better.